So
This is what us ladies want you men to know. We don't really want to admit these things, and we don't want you to know. We don't want to know that you know, but we want you to know, if that makes any sense. Like I want the men to feel more empowered, to feel like they have more choice, feel like I want them to be more confident. And so I think these are my three top things I want the men to know for how to deal with us crazy people. The ladies.
for you crazy people, yes, you are crazy.
We're nuts.
So the first one, let's dig in. What is it,
Okay.
and explain it.
So the first one is to tell the truth. Truth is the biggest turn on. So flattery is nice, compliments are nice. There's not a lot of feeling to those a lot. And women want to feel. They're feelers. Like we want to connect. So whatever you're feeling in your body, whatever that truthful thing is, whether it's something you really admire about her body. So a lot of times, like I used to get a lot of like, you have really pretty eyes. You have such pretty eyes. And it's like,
The standard compliment.
yeah, what do you really want to say to me? I even said that to a guy like about a year ago. I was like, what do you really want to say? And I think he said like I want to push you up against the wall or something like that. I was like, "Oh." And I was like, "Oh my God, that is so much hotter than you have pretty eyes." And I could feel it. Now, that's after there was a little bit of rapport. Like I knew him and we had been flirting already. So, you might, you might not want to go right out the gate with something like that. And more props to you if you do. So once you get a little flirting going on, tell her the truth. We want to hear the truth, and it's going to turn us on, and then you're much more likely to get more intimate with us.
Okay, so let's dig in. So we're talking about the truth in all aspects, whether it's dating, whether it's sex, whether it's in the relationship, whether it's within meeting the girl. So I know a guy, and he's very direct, and he will tell it like it is. When he sees her, he'll go up and say, "Hey, I thought you were really beautiful," and that it has to be authentic within himself. If that's what he feels, if that's what he sees, that's what he's gonna go say. And so
Yeah.
that is a very powerful thing.
Yes, because that's confident, right? And women, I mean, we don't really care that much about what you look like. If you are confident and you own your space, we are so there. We want that. That's all we want. Somebody. So if you can go up and just tell her straight like it is, that will turn her on.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so you also deal with a lot of sexuality and expressing your sexual self. So how does this relate in the sexual realm of a relationship?
Well, it's the same thing. Telling the truth is going to have the most sensation. So if you have a raw, truthful desire, and in sex, we can have a little bit more room for our weirder, darker, there's a lot more room to be playful in the world of sexuality. There's, you can play a little bit more. And so that's why it's so fascinating. And so, your guards are down. You can be a little bit more racy, a little bit more raw. So I always say, go speak your desire, like speak it exactly what you want with this woman. And that gives her permission to ask for what she wants. And then when you guys are both in that truthful, like primal animal flow, like the sex is going to be so much more sensational. And that's what we really want, like sensation, heat, turn on.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense when you're both getting with what you want. I mean, I can see it's really passionate that way when you're both really enjoying it. Yeah, instead of just one person or thinking you know what they want. Or anyways, let's get into that.
Yes, thinking. That's like the worst thing we can do in sex is start thinking about what we want and then just like think, well, how should I say it? Like, oh, well then what should I do? And then it's like, no, just speak it, own it, go for it.
Right on. So let's go into the second point. What's the second thing you want every man to know?
Okay, the second point is to ask us what we want. So we have desires, especially sexual desires. We pretend like we don't. We pretend like we don't know what we want. We do know what we want. We want you to ask us what we want. We want you to tease out our desires. So never believe a woman when she says, I don't know. When you ask her, like, what do you want, like in bed, or, do you want sushi, or do you want to go for Italian or whatever? Like, she knows. She has an opinion. We just pretend like we don't. I don't know what that is among women. I feel like maybe we just don't. It's too scary for us to receive what we want, or it's vulnerable, or like, what if we put out there what we want and we don't get it? It's really challenging. I know for me, it was really challenging to learn how to ask for what I want. So a really amazing thing a man can do for a woman is to tease that desire out and ask her what she wants.
Okay, so let's get back in there into the trenches. I feel like, because this is like contrary to what guys have been told, for years and years. I'm going to speak for guys and say that we have been told never to ask a girl what she wants, specifically in bed. Never say, oh, hey, what do you want me to do to you now? Although you're saying you're coming from a different.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. You're saying like, well, don't, because the man is supposed to lead, and the man is supposed to know what's going on and take control. And that is super hot. We do love that. We want that. And I know that's really challenging. And so a man who takes control and leads us, like, oh yeah, we totally want that.
Right.
And this is where, this is like when you're feeling like she's disconnected, or when she's not there with you, she's not present with you. She's like, I don't know what she's thinking about, something else, and she's not there with you. This is a good way for you to get her back and have her take responsibility for her desire, and have her get involved in the makeout also, not just like have it about you running the show with her totally disconnected.
Right. Okay.
So we want you to we do want you to lead. We do want you to know what you want, and we want you to like play with us, engage us, and get us involved also. So we still want you to ask us what we want.
Right. So this is coming from a place of you're asking, a guy's asking what you want, not from a place of, oh, you're so high above me and I want to please you and do whatever you want.
Right. No.
Right. It's from a place of, okay,
I'm a worship thing. No.
Right. Like I'm leading.
Times.
It's so the guy's still leading the interaction, and this is what he wants to do. He wants to please you because this is what he wants to do. So he's coming from a place of still leading the interaction, although he's bringing you into it.
Yes.
And you're enjoying it together.
Yes. Like he's still got me handled. However, he's getting me involved.
Right. And
a woman's desire, like that's what's going to really turn the whole thing on. That's the power source. That's the light switch. So yeah, we do want you to seduce us. We want you to, take us out on a date, and we want you to like, kiss us first and make the first move. And then when we also want to speak our desires. So we also want to play.
Right.
I know that's a lot of information. Poor guys. Like you guys have so many different things going on.
So now guys are thinking like, okay, so do I ask her like for the kiss, or what's going on?
No, don't ask her for the kiss.
Yes.
Go for the kiss.
Yes, go for the kiss. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And then if she gets weird, if she gets like, then be like, well, what do you want? I want to kiss you. What do you want? That's how you can keep the conversation going.
Right on.
Because I know women tend to reject a lot. So this is how you keep it going.
And I noticed before at the beginning you said something about women not wanting to open up.
Yes.
Or not wanting to reveal their sexual desires or whatever they want. I think a lot of it has to do with their trust in the guy. The guy has to be open and be willing to accept whatever they desire, and not judge them for what they put forth. Because I think a lot of women feel like they'll be judged if it's too out there, if it's too kinky or whatever it is.
Right. Yeah.
So
even though that's so funny, because when has a man ever judged a woman's sexual desire? I don't think I've ever heard a judgmental word, anything I've spoken. It's so funny. Yeah, I think we fear judgment, and we have shame, and we're like, we've been taught, it's not really that okay to want sex. Like that's what men want. Men want the sex. Men want sex. We'll have sex, and it's like no. That's not true.
Right.
We want sex. We want touch. We want to be in our bodies too. We don't want to be up here in our crazy heads.
Right. And you guys want to have a great time. Right.
Yeah, we want to have fun.
Right. Maybe even more so than guys do.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay. So let's move on to, okay, so the third point. What's the third point that you want guys to know?
So the third thing I want every woman wants you to know is to be willing to walk away. So I coach men and I coach women and I talk a lot about like strategies and I actually, you know, like how to play and how to have fun and how to interact with women. And then at a certain point, you need to have a bottom line where it's like, if you're not being treated well, you need to be willing to walk away. So that means you might have to give up sex for that night. So short-term loss, long-term huge gain, because you actually get to take your integrity and your, you know, your self-esteem and your bottom line with you, and you don't have to put up with a bunch of bullshit, which will really boost your confidence, which will get you to that place of attracting a woman who's going to match you there and who's going to treat you well, and you're going to feel like a man and she's going to feel like a woman, and it's going to be even hotter.
Oh wow! So what you're saying is, yeah, the more a guy puts up with a girl's crap and really does whatever she wants and doesn't really stand up for himself, the more he's going to feel insecure and not confident and so forth.
Yes, the more he's going to think that he needs a woman's approval, or that he's worthless or a piece of crap or whatever. Yeah, and the more he's like putting his, you know, his power in a woman's opinion of him, which is like, no, we don't want that. So that's what I'm saying. So if you tell her the truth, if you follow the first two steps, like you're telling her the truth, you're telling her what she wants, you're asking her what she wants, you're giving her what she wants, you're doing all this, and you're getting treated, you know, time and time after again, or, you know, you're really having to work hard and it's not going anywhere and you don't feel good and it doesn't feel right, then be willing to walk away. Say, you know, and you don't have to be, it doesn't have to be drama. It's just like, be willing to have your bottom line and be treated like a king and then walk away. Right.
And you mentioned a key point there is when it doesn't feel right, and emotions are a little tricky, although I know what you mean as to feel right. Like, so if I messed up and my girl is going off on me because of it, if I know I messed up,
right,
then I will own up to it. And I'll be like, you know what, that's okay. I take full responsibility. That's okay. So we're not saying that's something where I'd walk out of the situation. We're talking about if she's being completely ridiculous, where I don't even feel like it's justified. Right?
Exactly. That's when she's having a total freak out, meltdown, and you are the object in her view, and you have become the target. And so we don't stick around for that. Don't stick around for that. We don't want to get away with it either. We don't want to treat you badly. You know, we've just been sort of taught that it's okay and that it's tolerated. Like, we get away with it a lot. So we don't want to. We want to treat you well. We want to be treated well. We want to be kind and open-hearted and flirty and feminine. We don't want to be crazy bitches. So don't put up with things that don't feel right. When you know your truth and you know you've done everything you can and you're standing up for yourself, like, you don't need to cop to any, like, you don't need to like make yourself smaller just because she's having a total freak out.
Right, absolutely. I think guys would almost see this as not as a test, although it is a point where you need to represent who you are as a man.
Yes.
And not be a doormat, not be just a really nice guy.
Yeah. And if you're willing to walk, then that shows up to us. We're like, oh, you know, and some, you know, you might not hear from her again. Although the women of quality, the women that you really actually do want to be sleeping with, that want to take responsibility for their love lives and want to treat their men well, those women will wake up when you do that. When you walk away from that kind of behavior, those women will wake up and realize like, oh, wow, you know, I need to look at that. And then you're actually going to get a lot more in the long run. Those women could come back, or you're confident. So you don't need to put up with the crazy ones.
Right. Then you go up to a new level.
Of like real women who are like ready to go.
Absolutely. Awesome. Yeah. Okay. So is there anything, wow, that was Awesome. Great key points. Anything else you want to add into the overall picture? I think we covered
I think
everything.
that's it. The last thing I'll just say is I'm really grateful for men that watch this video and want to know more about women and want to understand us better. I think that curiosity is so admirable, and I'm just grateful that men want to learn, and that's the thing I love most about men is like they're willing to learn things and do things and try things and keep going, even though we're sort of into you guys sometimes.
Right. It feels like for guys,
Rejected.
it feels like we're doing all the work all the time.
I know.
Yeah, and
You
we're
are.
lost.
I know. I'm working on balancing that out, but
Yeah. Well, you pass it on to the women. I know a lot of the guys would rather have the women approach.
Right. We're working on that. We're working on that over here.
Yeah, you talk to your troops, I'll talk to mine.
Okay, good. Perfect.
We'll come meet in the middle. Hey man, hope you enjoyed the video. I want to remind you to click that link down below and sign up for free access to all the Dating Secrets videos. They're all free, and I have tons of great resources there for you. So make sure you check those out. Some of the things you will learn are how to approach any woman you would like to meet and exactly what to say to start a conversation. You will learn how to overcome the fear of rejection. You will learn the best ways to attract any woman and get her interested in you, no matter how beautiful she is and no matter how many guys are trying to get her attention. So make sure you click the link down below, and I will see you later.